Hi, my name is Phil Anderson, and I'm running for United States Senate to represent Wisconsin. Why do we have to break people down into so many different categories? Maybe it's an analytical process, a scientific process, a theme, a trend in higher education where we're deconstructing things in order to understand them better. But in the case of the human person, human beings and their lives and their experiences, I don't think it's a good idea to break people down. What that does is it points out and accentuates divisions, differences between people. And politicians do that, but also science does that as well. In examining the plight of women versus different people of different racial backgrounds or ethnic backgrounds, people of different sexual orientations. Whatever the differences might be, when politicians play to that, and that's backed up by statistical and scientific analysis of people, their lives and conditions based on these categories, it contributes to a sense of difference, which is false. You know, black people and white people are generally the same. Straight and gay people, bisexual, transgender, generally the same people. People of different races, backgrounds, religions. I believe, and it's a central tenet, a background principle, if you will, of libertarianism, and one that informs my life and my politics. My belief, my understanding, is that people are generally the same. Not in a bad way, not homogeneous, but people have the same wants, needs, desires in their lives. They want to live their life in privacy, have control over their own lives, control over their own destiny. And that means having the resources to do so, having the privacy to do so, living their lives in a way that they choose as long as they don't interfere with other people's right to do the same. That's a topic that I brought up before. It's a central concept in libertarianism called the non-aggression principle. And I think that the way that we approach our analysis of each other as human beings, the way that higher education and researchers analyze people and their conditions, the way politicians seek to garner favor, votes from people, is by appealing to the differences, which are false. Because I think people around the world, in our country and around the world, want and need the same things, love the same things, and those commonalities are what really defines us, not our differences, not our skin color, not our gender identity, not our religion, none of those things. The most common thing that we all have is that we're human beings, and that is our defining characteristic. And the way that we bridge the gap, make it over the bridge from the current conflicting, difficult status that we're in now, where there's a lot of conflict between the police and civilians, between nations, between religions, between races, is to look at how we're the same and to celebrate that. It's okay to celebrate diversity, that's fine. But I think what diversity actually shows is that despite all these different characteristics, we all want the same things. We're all of the same DNA. We're all made from the same earth. That we all share so much more in common than those things that divide us. And that's the sort of politics that I practice, that I seek to practice, that I hope to practice as your senator, and that I encourage you to expect from all of your politicians, elected officials, heads of agencies, whatever, is an understanding that we're generally the same, and that's a wonderful thing. It doesn't mean we're any less by being the same and having the same wants, desires, etc. It makes it easier to talk about things that we want, need, things that we share, our common goals. And it makes us less able to be divided, less able to be exploited, less able to be set against each other for the purposes of politicians who use those hateful methods in order to exploit us and control us. So that's my message tonight. I know it's a little philosophical, but I didn't want to dig too deeply into police killings because I'm very upset about that, and I think there's a lot of information that we need to get. By the way, if you want my full opinion on that, I did post today on social media and have a press release out talking about the need for the police to have body cameras. I think it's essential. My experience at Green Cab as a general manager informs that. But follow up on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn if you want some more information about my position on body cameras. But that's sort of a different topic. My message tonight is one of not unity in the sense that we're homogeneous, but unity in the sense that let's look at the commonalities and solve problems from there, as opposed to setting us against each other with differences that are legitimate but not as significant as we've been led to believe. Thanks, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.